Hey everybody, welcome back to another year and another recap of 90 Day Fiancé the other way.
Yeah.
Here for free on anywhere you see this. It is everywhere. This is freer than us currently.
Than you and me. Yes.
Than you and me. You can find this on YouTube or anywhere you get your video stuff and audio versions. You can head over to our Patreon and you can listen to our audio recaps for 90 Day Fiancé this season for free. Just head over to our Patreon and you can listen to the audio versions for free. And you know,
if you're
anywhere
an audio
else,
version only type of girl, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you know, sometimes you be in the whip and you need like, sometimes music is too much.
Yeah.
Or you're at the gym. I've noticed that when working out, I enjoy listening to podcasts more.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because then it's like I can focus on
what you doing?
the thing and not worry about the pain that's happening.
Oh, see, the music, the music takes me away, but you know I hate the gym, so I don't go. Anyway.
I don't go to the gym. I work out in my living room kitchen area. my lichen.
Exactly. I'll be in here, you know, amping myself up. This whole five, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like.
Exactly. So, we're on a new season of 90 Day the Other Way. And this is Jade and my favorite iteration of 90 Day. I know a lot of you guys asked us to talk about the other ones. And frankly, there's way too many of them.
Yeah.
But this one has a special place in our hearts because it's Americans going to different countries and having panic attacks over
right? And like American audacity and like just looking the motherfucking fool most of the time.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. I am going to be excited for this season because I don't think we've met all the couples yet.
We have not met everybody because I have thoughts on a particular one. I already have a name in mind. And I can't wait to get to them, but we did not have them this episode. But we did have 4 couples.
Yeah, we had 4 couples. 1 we already knew, and 3 we did not.
Yes.
So let's start with who we knew.
Oh.
So I know Black Poppy and or I should call him I'm with stupid. Because she's very stupid. Danielle is very, very dumb.
And the WYP.
What does that mean?
The White Yoruba Priestess.
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, friend. She was dressed like you in the in the yoga class, and I was like, she is wearing James.
Because you know my note says yoga, this head wrap, yuck. I was irritated. I have a picture actually. But I think I have on that exact outfit.
Head bun and all.
I was like, infuriated.
Jade has
every time she come on the screen, it just makes me uncomfortable.
As it should.
You know. And I know there's gonna be somebody and some because YouTube comments are just let's just talk about, let's put the uncomfortable things out there. The YouTube commentary is usually ghetto. But so there's gonna be somebody like, you should not judge people's spirituality and it is called traditional African religions or traditional. It is traditional. Emphasis on traditional and African.
My thing is, say what you want, then queef on the microphone. Because what are they gonna do? Nothing. So queef on. So
we get our moody New York shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Mama lives, and I love how we'll get to it. We get these moody New York shots. And her trying to exercise her privilege in order to get a cab. And they almost run her over. And good. You need to be humbled. Now, what she originally said is not a lie. New York is a toxic boyfriend. It is.
Oh, I firmly agreed. I've
Yeah.
never felt so seen and normalized by
Yeah.
somebody white before until then.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, this is an
Yeah.
abusive ass boyfriend that you just, you know.
He got good
something
dick.
keeps calling
You know
me
what I'm
back,
saying?
me
Nobody
back,
got
me
dick
back.
like him.
Sure don't. Mm-mm. Stockholm Syndrome was invented because of New York City.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? You have to truly, like, loose yourself gorilla glue style from New
Reality.
York. You know, from New York. You know, when you go
Yeah.
somewhere else, it's like, what do you mean I can't get anything to eat at 11:30? And it's, you know, there's just so many things. There's just so many
The
things.
culture shock that I got when I moved back to California and I learned that I can't go to the corner and get anything to eat
And get a
after 11
Sausalito
p.m.
turkey? Come on.
No.
See, we're talking about it, right? And this is probably one of the sole things that I've ever agreed with her on this show, was that, something on my titty, was that New York is a toxic boyfriend that is extremely hard to just get loose of the grasp of. But she is, you know, she talks about the grind and how exhausting it is, and she wasn't lying. You know, a lot of people have multiple hustles and jobs, and, you know, we just be moving and grooving through society. That's what we do. Now, for those who don't remember from our first round of recaps from them, I think when we did
Love in Paradise.
Love in Paradise, which you can
we
find.
forgot that one.
Where
Another
can you
list.
find? Patreon?
Patreon, I want to say, yeah.
Patreon. So sorry. So we met them on Love in Paradise. If you remember, she's 42. She's a high school history teacher as well as a yoga instructor on the side. He is 32 and a personal trainer from Dominican Republic. And they met while she was on vacation at a resort, and got engaged very quickly and got married. At the end of the last season, we see that they got married. And so now they're married. She's still living in New York working, but she is going to be moving to DR in order for them to be together for what he assumes to be about a year before they are supposed to relocate back to New York City on his visa that should be in the process of being processed right now. But
yeah.
that is just that is a recap, and now we may get to the mess.
Right. So she's at her yoga class and she tells her friend students that it's her last day. and they're being all emotional and like, oh my gosh. And one of the girls is like, she introduces the term sanky panky. Now, I never heard of this term, but it makes sense. And what it is a person who works at a resort in a type of Caribbean setting or somewhere else destination place. And they work at the resort and they look for tourists to take advantage of. Essentially what a lot of 90 Day Fiancé is about. Just, you know, in general, just having somebody take advantage of somebody gullible.
On some side.
Yeah. So, you know, and she assures her friend students that that's not the case. However, she then links up with her real friends from the first season of Love in Paradise, who them two need their own show.
Let me tell you something. They are my type of girls. I was like, let's brunch.
Right. They asked the hard-hitting questions. What I appreciated about this season is that everybody on this show, their people in their lives are like,
bitch, what the fuck?
Right. Think about it, Desperado. You know what I mean?
They
like,
asked her, they
especially when
said,
we
so
get
she
to
meets up
Gabe
with her
and his sister.
homegirls, and she says,
yeah.
They say, okay, you a teacher, you a high school teacher, you a yoga teacher. What you about to do in DR? She said, eat mangoes. They said, okay, all right, eat mangoes by the beach. What else?
How are you going to pay for all of this?
She's like, maybe I'm a teach yoga on the beach. They were like, okay, that's 1 day out of 7. What else?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, maybe I'll do some Zoom classes. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And they're like, so listen, bitch. This sounds motherfucking buns. Okay? This is crazy. You can't go down there and there is no way for you to sustain yourself. Like, you are living a fantasy. Do you understand that every time you've gone down there, it has been vacación, okay? It was vacation. Yeah. You are not going to move there. That's a different motherfucking story. How do you plan on getting the things you need to make sure that you all sustain yourselves? She said, I'm going to manifest it.
When I tell you, I stopped the television. I said, that makes no sense. I really want you to just... This is why I have a strong problem with... This is why I have a problem with white people doing any type of work when it comes to spirituality or energy. Right? Because it's always dealt in a manner of which they read it through like broadly.com. You know what I mean? Like, it's never, and I talk about this in like on Twitter too, and this idea of like people who talk about like wokeness and they get their shit from Twitter threads as opposed to actually doing real scholarly work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think here she could study all she wants, but the problem is the fact that it's counterproductive and intuitive for her to even practice the spiritual stuff, because the spiritual stuff is not for her. Like, if you're practicing traditional Nigerian African things,
traditional African religions,
that doesn't, and no offense to others, but it has nothing to do with you.
Phrase that
traditional African. This Africans only event.
Hello. You may not bring your white wife.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. And we talked about, maybe before about, other religions have great teachings and stuff, and people can accept that. However, when you have a teaching that is so specific and you had a group that you belong to strip that away historically and on a cellular level, it's really hard for me to take you serious. And I will think that, like Yohan said, I thought she was a witch. So her homegirls are up here and they're like,
you gonna manifest, huh? And they get cut to confessional. Yeah, we don't know what the fuck. We don't know what the fuck. We don't know what this manifesting shit, like this, she's not being realistic.
No.
And that'd be another thing. That's a whole nother conversation that's not really here for this YouTube. But this manifestation y'all just be throwing about like fucking pizza dough at the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, little that's big on TikTok.
That that is also a gift that people... Anyway, I'm not even...
Because they, like, people on the internet be like, I got this by being delusional.
Yeah, all I did was
I hate when people do that.
I charged my crystals in the moon and I said what I wanted. And if you say what you want, you'll get what you want. That is not how that works. It is not just 1, 2, 3, bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Yeah, no, that's borderline personality disorder. There's a DSM diagnosis for that. But... remember, she's supposed to be applying for this K-1 visa for him to get him to the States. Looks out, here it comes. She ain't applied for it. Why? Because she doesn't have any intent on moving back to the States. And she doesn't want to tell him that. Now, then we find out if she stayed one more year, una más.
Yeah.
She would have $15,000 more added to her pension.
To her teaching pension.
Now, I know what teaching pension is. Yeah. Like, I've seen a bunch of that, especially in the New York care system, and apply thousands of people for apartments and stuff. That ain't nothing to sneeze at.
And she gonna be like, well, I don't care about $15K more when I'm 63. Girl, who the fuck are you to scoff at anything in this motherfucking economy and society.
Exactly. That's how you know she white.
When I tell you this whole because okay, so we talk about the visa. So her homegirls are like, all right, so y'all supposed to come back here after a year or whatever. She's like, yeah, about that. Changed my mind. I don't want to come back here. Okay, so what I know Black Poppy have to say about this? Oh well, nothing, because I didn't really like. Did you tell him? Well, I didn't really like. I think he knows in his nuts that I haven't really done it, but like I haven't really. She lied by omission. She has not told this man, who was under the impression that she has filed for a working visa for him, that she has not and has no intention of doing so. Nor was she going to be honest and tell him about this until her homegirls guilted her into being truthful in her new marriage. They're like, bitch, you can't go into a marriage like this lying about something that big. She's like, well, when he raises a fit, then I'm going to tell him. And they're like, this bitch is not. And it was the white woman privilege at that very moment where it's like, I don't feel like moving here, so we're not going to. And I don't have to tell him. And I don't have to do shit.
Yeah. She, let me tell you something. She gonna get chopped up.
Let me tell you. Because every action has a reaction.
Yeah. Like, her sister's gonna come in and just, hit her with the blick, So...
well, ultimately, her friends wish her the best, but they think she's buns, and so do we.
Yeah. All right. So we get to DR. We get more of his story that people didn't know. He's learning English because he really has dreams to move to, Estados Unidos. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, now he says a couple things in here that every Dominican's dream is to move to America, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But okay.
Not every.
Every man has his own special dream. That's what they said in Dreamgirls. But okay. So, whatever. She goes there for a week to set up shop. They get an apartment or whatever, and he's excited to see her because he's, again, under the impression that, we're going to be here for a year. I'm going to be with my boo thing, and then we're going to hightail it to the Bronx like every other,
Not the Bronx.
Where else were they going to go? She going to move back to Williamsburg? I think not.
Bushwick.
Yeah. Oh, they can live in Bushwick. That's fine. Or Sunset Park.
That's more Mexican.
She can, well, she looks like the type that would live in Sunset Park or Gowanus.
I think she lives in...
She lives in Williamsburg. I know exactly where she lives. Yeah, she lives off of Kent.
She just over to Bushwick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. And so she gets off the plane. They're all lovey. He's wearing tight white pants.
Yeah, and, he got a little flower girl bouquet on him.
Yeah. He's excited to see her. And he's like, hey, I'm here. They have this little outside confessional thing, and she says in English, I need to tell him that we're not moving back to the U.S. Ha ha ha, LOL. Como?
Right. He understood some of that, girl.
Right. So they in the car driving, and because it's smart to tell somebody disparaging news while they're driving, she decides to do it then, And
in a very flippant way.
Right. Now, I get it, right? I understand. Like you said in the beginning, it is very difficult to live in New York City. And we've all put in our hard time, 15 years plus, you know what I mean? And it doesn't get easier after year, So I hear her wanting an easeful life. You know what I mean? And however, what I strongly hate about America, this is why I kind of like the show and hate, because of the fact that you make all these white woman assumptions because you had this eat, pray, love type of thing, or larger conversation, this idea of white people read these lofty ass books like Eat, Pray, Love and Sex in the City, and they think they're gonna recreate these white woman magical fantasies like in like Water for Chocolate or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not gonna work that way. Like, these people, he's telling you consistently, your husband is telling you on a daily basis how hard it is. I
live paycheck to paycheck, day to day, actually.
Right.
And the cycle of things in this particular town is that I work, and then there's really no opportunity past that. And so,
no.
And it's the way she sprung it on him, like, oh, by the way, like, we're never going to New York because I don't want to. I don't want to go back. I'm tired of struggling. And he made a valid point. While she was also making valid points, again, don't agree with her on anything outside of her viewpoints on the city. She's like, listen, rent is crazy. You paying $4,000 a month, though, is crazy. Like, you don't have to be paying $4,000 a month. But yes, we see with the trajectory of this economy and everything else, rent is out of control. Yes, the cost of living is wild. Like, it's so many different things that he does not have a full grasp of because he's not come here. But also, you don't shut somebody down in that way when you all have discussed an entire different plan prior.
Right. You have to, in any relationship, you have to give them the option. You know, like, compromise. You took his option away of having this decision of wanting to live in the U.S. or even to marry, because of the fact that you changed. He was under the impression that we're going to live a dream of mine. And, you know, and I get that. That's really, you know, neither of them are listening to each other. No. And
because they both have very specific visions of what they want. And they were hasty in this decision to get married and combine their lives anyway. You all are on two completely different playing fields right now. You guys have completely... You don't want anything the same right now. So, good luck. We'll see what happens.
And that was him. Let's get to the new folks. Can we start with my faves?
Yeah. Who's your
I haven't told you my faves. Kris and Jeymi.
Oh, honey, because that's about to be a ride. Do you hear me?
Yes. Now, I will say this season we have a lot of queer representation.
We do.
And remember I asked for that a long time ago. I was like, how come ain't no gays on here? And then we had the hot gay dads. And then we had Love in Paradise with the throuple situation.
Oh, yes. So we're getting a little bit more each time.
Right. So here we have Kris and Jeymi. Now,
it's not Kris. She's white from Alabama. It's just Kris.
Yes, it's Kris and Jeymi. Yes, my fave. I don't even have names for her. It's just white lady and big proud lesbian.
Yeah, baby. Because hold on, I put it in here. She said, hold on. Jeymi said, I put proud lesbian all caps. She goes, I'm sorry, I lesbian.
Yeah. My initial group name for them.
I lesbian.
Yeah, I lesbian. Yo soy lesbiana. Yeah. She's so lovely. She's just like, ooh, men growth.
She's like, right? Yes. She's like, oh, I never liked dick. She's like, and then one day my therapist was like, bitch, you hate dick. Like, are you gay? And she's like, oh my God, bitch, I might be.
Bitch, I am. Yeah. Love her.
Yeah, I do enjoy Jeymi already.
Yeah. So, we meet Kris first. And my first note is what in the meth? Because
mine is what the fuck.
They're in Alabama. It opens up with her in squalor.
No, it opens up with her in a fairy costume, flittering to get.
Oh yes, and she's never met a onesie she didn't like.
No, not at all. She's got them in all flavors, sizes, textures, anything for your furry pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. She says she feels like she's 20, but she's 40.
But she looks 20
Okay.
is what she says. And
I mean, if that's what she feels and needs to tell people, okay.
I put youthful
You know.
spirit.
Yeah, she has a very youthful spirit. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah,
And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that she had a wild ass life. Jump. So she has 2 kids and she's been married twice. Kris has. She had her children very young. She got pregnant at 16 and then she had another one soon after that. And I laugh because she essentially went gay after her son graduated high school.
Yep, which
She
is
was like, kind of like, oof, let me
all right.
freedom.
Well,
And that's kind of the way.
Yeah.
You
She met Jeymi on an ad that popped up for international dating site.
And she lives in Bogota, Colombia. She too was looking for DL women.
Yeah.
Oh, and we learned that Kris was kind of DL, which I think is interesting. Because she lives in the Bible Belt.
She says she is always identified as bi, just not openly, because of the way that she would be treated based off of where she lived.
Yeah, it was very hidey in closet, similar, you know, like she had to travel like an hour or so to go to actual gay bar.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any, or she didn't want to get spooked or anything. So
I had to hop on over to Birmingham just so... Never mind, I'm not going to finish that sentence, but yes.
Had to hop over to Birmingham to eat some Gucci. You know, eat some beaver.
Yeah, I think
Birmingham
that's what they say.
beaver.
I think they say beaver.
Yeah.
I don't know what they say. But I don't think they say coochie.
No, they say beaver or muff or carpet or
muff. Snatch.
Do they say snatch? Yeah, snatch, yeah.
Snatch.
Oh,
you saw your tweet. I responded to your tweet talking about, do you say pocketbook or purse?
Everybody has given me this innuendo of depends on what you're talking about. I'm like, oh God, I just wanted to know.
I just say pussy.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I just wanted to know purse or bag because I was talking to my homegirl, my play cousin in New Jersey. She says pocketbook all the time. And I'm like,
sometimes I say pocketbook. It depends. Sometimes it's a pocketbook, sometimes it's a purse.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't referring to, you know, the fourth meal or anything. I was specifically referring to a bag, you know.
Speaking of the fourth meal, so yes, Jeymi is Venezuelan, but she lives in Bogota, Colombia. This is her first real relationship with a woman. In addition,
oh, by the way, they're getting married in 9 days.
Oh yes, and it's going to be fantastic. I did have a question. I said, what are these cake pins? As she was gathering her things together to sell and clear out.
You know, queer people have weird baking utensils. Like, ask your white friend Jonathan and see if he has, like,
he's not white.
A cake pan made out of... Ask your friend Jonathan about if he has a cake pan in the shape of, like, you know, a dick or something.
I don't think so. He's Colombian.
Oh. Well, ask him if he has friends that does, because
that might be different.
You know, because I feel like Swat A at some point when she wanted to be a baker in one of her lives, like it was like erotic baking kind of thing.
Yes.
And I want to say like there was like a titty cake involved, like. Queer people be having just sex shit for no reason. It has nothing to do with it being erotic. It's just because, oh, it's titties, it's fun.
Was that a titty cake pan? I wasn't sure what that was.
No, it was a stud muffin. It was, you know, it was a guy juiced up. Like,
I
you know.
it.
Yeah, it was awful.
Apparently, Jeymi had a really bad stint with COVID. And so this solidified how much... This is what we learned initially. This solidified how much Kris realized she loved her and wanted to go be with her.
Yeah. I could see why someone would say that.
Right. So then we meet Jeymi.
Thank you.
Which, hold on, before you begin, I just want to note that the opening music was a song called Por Favor by Nick Kingsley and Danny Ferrant.
Oh yes, I know. I have all of the listings here of on my Shazam of what I was playing and watching it. Like earlier, it was Ona Lane by TJ. Who else? Feel It Still by Portugal, the man. Por Favor, Nick Kingsley and Danny Ferrant.
That's where we met Jeymi too.
Yeah, iconic. If you guys don't have Shazam on your computer or whatever, it's a good time.
It is.
So, like we said, she is a proud lesbian and all that, and her family is conservative, as we know in traditional Latin countries.
Yeah.
And she's never had a girlfriend before. She's like, messed around, but nothing serious for real. Now, she doesn't have any friends in Colombia because all her homies are in Venezuela, where she escaped from. Well, not escaped, but she left because it was way too conservative.
It was conservative and it was not lucrative financially. It was hard.
May I make a suggestion real quick? If you guys can find the episode of Venezuela of States of the Undressed, it's on Viceland. And so they talk about life in Venezuela and what it's like for people in the fashion industry and also like queer people. And like how, and everybody's gorgeous, but it's also interesting how government runs everything and ruins stuff and is so corrupt. But it puts a lot of insight of why she wanted to leave. Yeah, I know. Or why she left. So she talking to her home days on Zoom. And they're concerned because they're like, oh girl, La Gringa, she was playing disappearing acts for a little bit.
That bitch was playing with, quit playing games with your heart.
Right. So here's where we learn where the drama is for them. Jeymi hit up a girl and was talking to her for a month because she thought Kris ghosted her. Now, Kris had a history of leaving her on red for weeks and months at a time.
Which is fucked up.
And we didn't get an explanation from Kris about it.
I noted that.
Yeah. She kind of like skirted all over that.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, I deserved it because, I kind of ghosted her. But now she's trying to make up for it.
However, because see, I was conflicted. I was like, here we go into gay drama. Because after she got ghosted, Jeymi was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to talk to somebody new.
Yeah.
And she was kicking it with another home day for a month over the phone. But nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then Kris popped back in like niggas usually do.
Yep.
And, to ruin things on some future shit. And, she was like, oh, I'm in love. My first love is back. And they got back together. Now, Kris is kind of like, I'm going to have to eat that, but also like, why? I don't necessarily know if I trust her because she was talking to somebody else. But it was like, well, then why did you ghost her? So both of y'all are in the wrong?
Yeah, it was very weird. Old girl hit her up. Did you say that already?
I didn't get to that part. Go ahead.
Old girl hit her up and was like, I've been talking to your bitch. She asked me to be her bitch. And then, I looked you up and saw y'all was a couple on Facebook, so what's up?
Yeah. And so they worked it out, I guess. Enough to where they're exclusive and Kris is moving to Colombia and getting married in a week.
Yes.
So we also learn that, because this part was wild. So we see that Kris is about to leave, and she's saying that she owns the home. She owns a home next door to where this other place that she owns that got burnt down in a fire. And she's saying she's trying to like get it fixed up so she can rent it out and rent out her other place so she can have income when she moves to Colombia. The problem is she thinks she's going to have this apartment set up in a week, but it looked like the whole thing just got burnt down last week. So I was so confused as she thought of how she was going to turn this around.
When I tell you, these people on this show just be doing stuff and they don't think anything through. Like, I was thinking the same. This whole thing is burned down, and she's in the dead middle of peeling shit off the walls, talking about, I leave in a week.
Like, I don't think they should have been in there without any protective, like, you know? Like, where was their PPE?
She also leaves a lot out. How did the
PPE?
motherfucking fire start? Was it an electrical fire? Was it a grease fire? Like, what happened?
Well, I assumed that it was of a spoon-related nature.
Bet you one of them onesies got on. She left one of them onesies by a space heater.
Okay, went up in flames, nigga.
I'm not laughing at how
This shit was
fire.
okay. That shit was blue and purple flames because all them onesies made of rayon and like
every last one.
Kenkalon.
So now let me tell you who I was surprised by. Her
Nana.
mother. Yes.
Yeah.
We meet Kris's mother, who is a Bible thumping, church going, possum cooking white woman from Alabama. And I thought she was going to be hateful and like a source of contention. She was like, I am a church going woman, but it is not my place to judge. It's just God's place to judge. So all I care about is my daughter's happiness. I've seen her go through a lot, but I am concerned.
Yeah. I was expecting something completely different. I was fully expecting, you know, I'm a Bible thumper and I'm not here for the gay shit.
Yeah.
And she still said that, but also, I'm here for my daughter too. You know, all gay parents, you know, of a certain age has had their parents say to them, you know, I don't like the sin, but I love you. Whatever that means. It's like, yeah, child. My mama told me that once, and I was like, okay, LOL.
Girl.
Yeah, sure. Acceptance is not what, or tolerance is no.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works, friends, family. But anywho, we then learn that Kris is narcoleptic, and so her mother's concern is like health care and stuff in another country. And I hate when people vilify the healthcare of other countries on this show because they make it seem like they do like surgery with rocks and, you know, by hand. Like, I'm not saying it's not Seattle Grace and shit, but it's not like, you know what I mean?
Yes. And I did wonder though, because what it sounded like a little bit more to me was, I'm more concerned about you being out of the country and like having no support with how bad your narcolepsy is.
No, yeah, I get that.
You know,
but I also,
but they do. But yes, Americans do have a tendency to be on some bullshit when it comes to that.
Yeah, because I'm like, people live in these countries their whole lives, full, realized, healthy. I'm sure they have health problems too, and they go on and live day by day through their healthcare system. Yeah. So I just don't, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's American audacity rears its head again.
No, it is.
But that's all we know about them so far. And I'm excited to know more because they are about to thump.
Baby, because she was trying on lingeries, Jeymi was, when they first... first, and I was like, oh, she's getting ready for her boo.
Yeah, because she was like, because the sales clerk was like, oh, you know, for your man. She was like, oh, no. I'm a lesbian.
She's like, men, yuck. She's like, the dick never did nothing for me.
Stan her. But that was them.
Yes.
Can we move on to our short king, Gabriel?
Oh, okay. So Gabriel, aka Miles from Blackish.
Yes.
Big Miles is what I called him.
Miles from Blackish, and I don't know much about Isabel. We don't know much about her. We haven't met her yet.
No, not yet.
Actually. Gabriel's a treat. I enjoy him. I think
I do.
he a little
He operates like a
open
lesbian.
when it comes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I mean
Yes.
that with the utmost of love. But my homegirls know exactly what I'm saying right now. What I said.
Because he falls in love at
Quick,
first
fast,
thought.
and in a motherfucking hurry. Okay, U-Haul status. Let me make a copy of the key at the Home Depot. Like gung ho. Stepdaddy, we moving in.
Right. So it opens with Gabriel letting us in on the business, meaning his business and what he does for a living. Which at first I was taken aback from, but then I was like, you know what? This is necessary. I get it. So he makes underwear with penises, silicone penises inside of them.
Yes.
For bold purposes, for people of the female to male trans experience.
Yes.
For those who may not have their bottom surgery, and for those who want to feel more confident.
Yes.
Which is great. I don't know about making it a business, but meaning
well, I mean, listen, if it's selling.
Yeah, it's, I'm all for gender affirmation and stuff, whatever makes you feel good and produce well in society. But I always kind of like, well, I mean, sure, I guess. Why not?
Why not?
It's none of my business.
Why not?
Right. You can make a business out of anything. Hell.
That's what I'm
just talk
saying.
shit
Like,
about people on the internet.
White people make businesses out of stealing. Remember them white people, them white spiritual people
Out
that
of
stole
stealing
France?
people.
Out of stealing people. Hell, countries.
Yeah.
Countries,
Yes.
nigga.
Yeah. Give a white person an inch, they'll steal a whole continent.
They'll steal
I
a
tell
continent and a village
So.
of humans.
Right. So we learn a lot about Gabe. So Gabe is, of the trans experience. And he talks about growing up and was like, you know what? This wasn't for me.
Yes.
And realized that, he had a couple of friends who were feminine and was real masculine, and then he found somebody on the internet who was talking about their trans experience and was like, you know what, I finally feel seen and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And he has a really healthy support system. And he's also he is also very big in the community. He has a one-person pride parade.
Yes, where he goes out
At
in the
any given
streets
moment.
and wears his draws and waves the trans flag and advocates for, and he says it's really to bring joy. He's like, the world needs a little bit more joy, and that's what I'm here to spread, and I am not mad at it.
And it's a good time. I mean, at first I was like, sir, put some clothes on. It looks drafty.
It did look, I was like, it's not overcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that overcast. But he was having a good time, and then his friend came out who knew that he was moving soon and was like, well, I'm going to keep up this tradition of having a one, pride party. And so him and Keon, who's also the trans experience, had a wang dang doodle just out there and just, hey.
That's my T.S. Madison titty pop.
Yeah. So, Keon's super supportive, but we learned that this scenario between Gabriel and Isabel is different because he met her on a trip to Colombia when he was trying to do research for his underwear line, and he met her, and he fell in love first day. He was a little apprehensive about telling Isabel about his experience. But she was like, "Oh, I don't care."
Yeah.
And as soon as she said that, honey, Gabriel got him an apartment, got them an apartment in Colombia that he still pays for her and her kids, because we didn't learn that until later. But
yeah, when they kind of slid that in real slick.
So yeah,
I don't remember no kids being mentioned, but
nope, not till the end. So he's paying for an apartment that she's staying at with her kids. Even though he says that they're grown, 16 and 11. No, they're still children.
No, they're children.
And, he's can't wait to spend the rest of his life with her.
Yes. Now, Big Miles is an impulsive one, like we've mentioned, because he takes himself down to the tattoo shop and gets a...
That shit was layered, too. This scene with all the relationships with the nigga and then the sister would go on.
I was like, because I wasn't sure ethnicity-wise what was happening. And then when I saw old pictures, then I kind of got an idea. I still don't fully know, but I know that we are apart. So then...
I mean, there's black there.
No, that's what I mean. And so when we met his sister, and then she was with a black man, I was like... And she seems to have some good sense about herself, So
she is cutthroat. She low-key mean, but she also...
Oh, I don't think she's mean. Oh, I didn't think she was mean at all. I was like, oh.
No. She wasn't mean, but it was like, when I was watching,
she perhaps was a Virgo.
Bitch, she didn't have to say that shit.
I just thought she was a Virgo child. I didn't know.
Also, his Isabel's parents don't know that he's trans.
Yes.
And he's conflicted about telling them and asking for their daughter's hand in marriage.
So,
and Kiana's like, you should tell them, but I don't know, I don't know, dude, about telling them.
He's actually not conflicted about telling them. He feels tormented that they don't know, and it's not because he said he feels like he owes a society an explanation on his gender, but he also, which I fully agree. But also he's like, they're going to be my family and we have a close relationship and I would just like things to be transparent amongst all of us. And so he feels very strongly and very passionately actually about telling her parents, but he is nervous for what their reaction is going to be, especially because he plans on telling them and asking for their blessing to marry Isabel. Which, you know how we feel about that blessing business. Antiquated as fuck. Antiquated.
Right.
So,
I hate it.
He goes to get Isabel's name tattooed on his arm. Which is not the first tattoo that he's gotten, we learn, of a significant other on his body. He has an X name tattooed on the back of his neck. And so, his boyfriend-in-law snitched, told her sister he was coming in to get Isabel's name today, and she popped up, and he was like, you wasn't about to get me in the middle of no shit. I was going to let her know.
And she owns the tattoo parlor.
Yes. So she was like, okay, so bust it. You have an impulsive issue. You fall in love very, very easily, and it has ended for you poorly multiple times. What makes you think that this shit is not going to end any differently?
She had points. She was like, are you getting this tattoo to prove how much you love this new person even more than the last person you got tattooed?
Baby, I was like, hit him with the hard-hitting shit.
I was like, damn. Damn, did
Yeah.
you have to say that shit?
No.
Yes, you should have.
Which, yes, absolutely. Because if I had a loved one because he says him and his sister butt heads a lot, but they're actually very close, which means she holds his feet to the fire even more so. So he's, he appreciates it. And she's like, let's be clear. And I would say the same thing to somebody. Like, you got the last person's name tattooed on you. So what makes this any different? What?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to go put a black block over this other person's name so you can get this new. What about the new person that's going to come along? Or might come along? And he doesn't really have a lot of argument for his sister. It's more like, I really love her. And I really want this to work. And I really feel like she's the one. But if it don't work and I have to come back here, you can tell me I told you so.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it with them.
I feel like we're going to get a lot more insight to... First of all, we have to meet Isabel. And then we're going to get a lot more insight into his past relationships. Because they alluded multiple times...
to show up.
Baby, to them ending poorly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me
so,
too.
That was them.
Yeah.
We have one more couple.
Oh, baby.
Jenny and Samit 2.0.
Her name is even Jen.
Yeah.
It's not Samit 2.0 because Rishi, a.k.a. Indian Jesus, is actually who Samit used to catfish Jenny. So we should call him OG Catfish.
Yeah.
And Jenny 2.0.
I call her Brandy Diaz because she looks like Brandy Glanville and Cameron Diaz.
I called her Walter Mercado. And you all can go and
oh my God.
She looks like Walter Mercado.
Woo!
Facial express, like,
man.
Just go take a gander and let me know what you think.
Okay. So, anywho, so Indian Jesus, he real pretty. I would like him if he wasn't such a douche. You know what I mean? And like he has. Well, I'll talk about it. So we're introduced to him with him washing his hair with rice water shampoo, which I'm very interested in.
Oh, rice water is supposed to be extremely good for hair growth and strength. Yeah, like you can make your own. Mm-hmm. You can make your own like rice water rinse. You can make it by soaking for a period of time.
The rice and water.
Yeah. Like
almond milk, essentially.
Yeah, and then using that water. You can definitely do that. Cardi B be doing that shit. But we find out that, and this is where I have a problem. This nigga has an hour and a half hair regimen every other day. We cannot be together. We can't.
No.
Because all that vanity,
Yeah, he is pretty.
Boots.
And he's from India.
And knows it.
Yes, he is. He's one of them people like, I'm pretty and I work hard on my body and my physique. He's a fitness instructor, and he was like, there's a lot of stigma behind us that we're, airheaded and stuff. So he actually has 2 degrees, or several degrees. He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he got a degree in like finance or something. And I was like, you know what? He acts like all of those dude bros in the financial district. Like, I'm sure he reads like for Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Even when he was like, I don't even have to go after women. They just happen to come to me. They always have. Even my hair. My hair is my crown jewel. I'm known as Black Jesus. Nobody else in my town has hair like me. I was like, oh, this motherfucker here is full of himself. Okay.
It's fine,
You know who could knock him down a couple notches? Auntie Seema from Mumbai.
Oh, I'm sure that she was contacted and she was kind of like,
I'm not touching it.
She went to that man who reads the stars for her and stuff, and I'm sure she was like,
she's like, no, we are not to work together. I'm so sorry.
Right. So they met at a hotel lobby in India while he was doing modeling. Now we meet Brandy Glanville, Cameron Diaz, Walter Mercado, and she's from Oklahoma. She's a little wild farm girl out in Oklahoma, right? And she's a bit all over the place. She's actually, and like, I'm surprised she wasn't a model too, because her younger pictures give very like white woman model-esque.
Oh, okay.
She looks like she would come in a picture frame.
She does. From Kirkland.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, or like the Kathy Ireland collection at Kmart. You know what I mean?
Or like the Rachel Ray collection. Although she probably put her and her sharp chin on there first. But anyway.
So she tells us that she wasn't into him at first because she thought he was a douchebag. Because he introduced her by like, let me show you pictures of me. She was like, ah!
She's like, get your head ass.
Right.
But she liked that shit.
Know,
she liked it because she was like, he was a douche. But then we started hanging out as friends. And I was like, you wanted to fuck him on vacation. Yeah. You wanted to eat, pray, love, his eat, pray, love.
Listen, that curried cock. And so...
Oh my God. Oh my Jesus Christ.
Listen, it's a thing. So he, you know what I saw today?
Wait.
This is how I know. This is how I know, man.
Wait. You just hit me with so many things. Wait a second. That old lady in Alabama said, it's not the fact that she's bisexual. It's the fact that she told me she's moving to Colombia and she's bisexual at the same time. You can't tell me curry cock is a thing and then try to continue the conversation as if you didn't just say that. Like I was...
Oh, I was going to make it worse.
What?
I'll tell you what I saw today. I'm going to tell you how I saw this white man filling 4 fleshlights with pasta, and he was trying to determine which pasta is the most fuckable.
I would imagine it might be orecchiette. You're welcome, sir. Bet that's one you didn't consider.
Yeah, I did it. That was a good one. So, moving along. After hanging out as friends, he proposed after a month. And the odd thing is, they haven't seen each other in 2 years because of, COVID. However, she's moving to India next week. Now, we learned that she's a little off her rocker. Because anytime that she doesn't hear from him in the beginning, like she didn't hear from him for maybe like a day or two or whatever, she thought that they were broken up. And so they showed us these video messages that she sent him.
It be mascara. It be Fatal Attraction, boiling the rabbit in the pot.
Yeah.
I know I love myself too much to endure this. And he's like, bitch, I was asleep.
Yeah, I was asleep. Relax. It is like a 12-hour time difference.
But I will tell you this. He was cheating.
Oh, he was. Absolutely. He was definitely having a wang dang.
He was cheating, is cheating, will be cheating.
Will be cheating.
Go cheat.
On his current wife with his girlfriend.
Jen.
Well, hey, I know he got an arranged marriage, and I know that, that he's avoiding. Listen, Samit had a whole ass wife.
Samit had a family.
And I can't imagine what this little pretty
for
Indian Jesus
years.
looked
Can
like
you imagine being with somebody while you planning your wedding? You marry that person. You are married. You are living together, and it's like, damn, I got this girlfriend back in America.
Yeah. That's motherfucking crazy.
Yo, Samit is motherfucking wild, nigga. Nothing's gonna be crazier than his in-laws marching. I'm sorry, I know marching up
No,
and
that
through.
shit was wild.
Because, baby.
Are you Jenny?
Yo, who asked it?
Yeah. No.
My name's Samantha.
Okay. Jenny. Meg. Okay.
They say it don't matter.
Marguerite.
I know who you not. My daughter.
Exactly.
This nigga is married to her.
Right.
Woo, but anyway, go
So
back.
then Jen is talking to her brother. Her brother looks like he's on Letterkenny, which is this Canadian show on Hulu. And he's just kind of like, girl, this may not work out for you because you are too old and he's in India and you don't know anybody there. All the standard issue things that we all say. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to be with the love of my life in India. And that's it.
Yep.
We'll see what happens with them throughout the season. I am thoroughly excited. I have not been excited for...
I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for Life After Lockup.
Can't
TV,
wait. February's about to
TV
be...
is just about to just be giving, nigga.
Okay. Yes. Entertainment.
Yes. And this lady I can't wait to share it with you. I can't wait to see if the name that I just came to my mind immediately is what it should be, because I feel like it is. And I can't wait to get to her. I can't wait to learn about this lady.
Yeah. So, until next time, bye, y'all.
If for whatever god-awful reason you want more Jade and XD, make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon.